Think about the names we remember from history books: Nikola Tesla, Isaac Newton, or Emily Dickinson. These people didn't just have high IQs, they had lives that looked very lonely to the average person. They spent most of their time in rooms by themselves, away from the parties and the noise. Why did they do this? Was it because they were socially awkward, or was it a conscious choice? Most of us are taught to fear being alone. We fill every quiet second with our phones or small talk. But for these exceptional spirits, the crowd wasn't a source of comfort. To them, the crowd was a distraction that pulled them away from their true work. This brings us to a difficult truth that many people don't want to hear. Maybe solitude isn't a punishment for the brilliant. Maybe it is a privilege that only a few people ever get to enjoy. Arthur Schopenhauer was a philosopher who spent a lot of time thinking about this. He wasn't exactly known for being a happy guy, but he was incredibly honest about how he saw the world. He looked at society and didn't see a community of people helping each other. Instead, he saw what he called a theater of shallow actors. He felt that most people were driven by very basic, empty impulses, like wanting more status, gossiping about their neighbors, or looking for the next shiny thing to distract them. He called this the will, a blind and irrational force. To Schopenhauer, this wasn't just a minor annoyance. He believed that solitude was the unavoidable fate of all exceptional spirits. He thought that if you are different, and if you see the world with more clarity than those around you, you will naturally end up alone. It's not that you're trying to be better than everyone else. It's just that you don't fit into the small, narrow paths that society expects everyone to walk. There is a natural wall that intelligence builds between a person and the rest of the world. Imagine you are someone who thinks deeply about the universe, about truth, and about the future of humanity. Now imagine you are at a dinner party where everyone is arguing about a TV show or complaining about their co-workers. The gap between your thoughts and their words is massive. For a deep thinker, finding someone who can actually meet them at that level is rare. It's like looking for a specific needle in a giant haystack. This distance isn't something a genius creates to be mean or elitist. It's just a reality of how their brain works. Schopenhauer argued that a person can only be truly free when they are by themselves. When you are with other people, you have to change. You have to limit your ideas so others don't get confused. You have to watch what you say so you don't hurt someone's feelings. You have to wear a mask. Only when you are alone can you take that mask off and be who you truly are. For a great mind, that freedom is worth more than any social approval. Think about Nikola Tesla again. He gave the world the technology we use every single day, yet he lived much of his life in quiet hotel rooms. He famously preferred the company of pigeons to the company of people. Then there is Emily Dickinson. She wrote some of the most powerful poems ever put on paper, but she spent the last years of her life rarely leaving her home. Some people might look at these lives and feel sorry for them. They see a lonely person and think something is wrong. But maybe these thinkers were just protecting their inner world. They had what we call a transcendental intelligence. Their thoughts were moving so fast and going so deep that the regular world felt slow and noisy. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. Schopenhauer's philosophy goes deeper than just liking your own company. He believed that the world we interact with every day is just a representation. It's like a massive stage play where everyone is following a script they didn't even write. This is the social theater. On this stage, people don't show their true selves. Instead, they wear masks designed to make them look successful, likable, or normal. Behind these masks is what he called the will. This isn't a good or logical force. It's a blind, hungry impulse that drives people to chase things like social status, petty gossip, and power over others. For the average person, this cycle is invisible. They are just living life. But for the person with a high level of intelligence, this theater feels incredibly fake. They see the strings being pulled. They see how much energy people waste on things that don't actually matter in the long run. It makes participating in society feel like a chore for brilliant minds. The gap between the genius and the mediocre isn't about arrogance. It's about perception. Imagine standing in a room where everyone is watching a low-quality cartoon and laughing, but you can see the screen is flickering and the story is meaningless. You can't force yourself to laugh along. This is the daily frustration of the deep thinker. They are looking for universal truths, questions about why we exist or how the world really works. Meanwhile, the majority of people are just looking for passage entertainment. They want a distraction to get them through the day. This creates a wall of silence. When the intellectual tries to share a profound thought, it often falls flat. The others might look at them with confusion. This is where Friedrich Nietzsche enters the conversation. He believed that most people's convictions were actually enemies of the truth. People hold on to ideas not because they are true, but because those ideas make them feel safe and included in the social group they inhabit every single day. Living with this kind of clarity comes at a high price. It leads to what we might call the abyss. When you see through the illusions of society, you often find yourself feeling alienated. It's a specific type of loneliness that comes from being in a room full of people and realizing you have nothing in common with any of them. This often leads to deep anxiety or depression. It's not that the intellectual's brain is broken. It's that they are perceiving reality more profoundly, including the parts of reality that are dark and painful. Most people are protected by a layer of superficiality. They don't think about the darkness, so they don't feel it. But the thinker can't look away. Voltaire, another great mind, warned about the danger of telling everything you know. He understood that sharing too much truth with people who aren't ready for it only causes friction. It leads to a type of social exhaustion that drains the spirit of its inner vitality. This leads to a double-sided problem: social rejection and self-isolation. It isn't always the thinker who chooses to leave. Often, society pushes them out first. People tend to react with hostility toward those who think differently. Nietzsche called this the resentment of mediocrity. If someone can't understand your ideas, they often decide your ideas are wrong or that you are a bad person for having them. It's a defense mechanism. By labeling the genius as weird or arrogant, the mediocre masses protect their own ego. They don't have to feel small if they can make the big thinker look like a villain. This hostility creates a cycle. The thinker realizes they aren't welcome, so they retreat further into their own mind. They start to see their isolation not as a loss, but as a defense against a world that doesn't want them anyway. This distance is the only way to keep your soul intact in a world that pulls you back down into the noise. While it might seem like the intellectual is always running away from people, it is actually more about running toward themselves. For most people, being alone is a scary thought. They need the radio on, or they need to be scrolling through their phones, or they need to be surrounded by empty talk. This is because when they are alone, they have to face themselves, and they often find that there isn't much there. They feel a sense of dread when the room goes quiet. For the common man, solitude feels like a void. But for the elevated man, solitude is where life starts to happen. It is a privilege and the ultimate space for creativity. Look at the life of Immanuel Kant. He followed a schedule so precise that his neighbors would set their watches by his daily walk. He didn't seek the noise of high society or need the validation of 100 friends. Instead, he protected his time to focus on the biggest questions of philosophy. His isolation wasn't a prison, it was a laboratory. By keeping the world at a distance, he kept his mind clear of the trivial nonsense that clutters most people's brains. He understood that you cannot think clearly if you are constantly being interrupted by the demands of others. He knew that the greatest work is born in the quiet hours. Then we have the story of Ludwig van Beethoven. As his deafness got worse, he was forced to step away from the social theater. He couldn't hear the polite applause or the petty gossip anymore. At first, this made him miserable. He felt cut off from life. But in that forced silence, he stopped writing music that was meant to please the crowd. He realized that the silence wasn't his enemy, but his greatest collaborator. He started writing music that came directly from his inner spirit. Because he couldn't hear what was popular, he broke all the rules. His deafness became a shield that protected his authenticity. It allowed him to create symphonies more powerful than anything he had written when he could still hear the world. This teaches us that social distance is often the price of being real. Great thinkers have to reject social expectations to achieve their feats. Think of your mind as a sacred garden. In this garden, you grow your best ideas and honest feelings. But society is full of weeds. These are the trivial social obligations and the pressure to conform. If you let everyone walk through your garden whenever they want, they will stomp on your flowers. They will leave their trash behind. To keep your garden healthy, you have to build a fence. You have to be okay with saying no. It is about deciding that your own company is more valuable than people who drain your energy. Protecting your space isn't arrogance. It is a way to keep your soul from being buried under mediocrity. In the end, Schopenhauer's solution was simple. He didn't suggest fighting the world. He suggested cultivating the inner world. The dark truth about being a deep thinker isn't that you are lonely. It is actually a hidden light. Once you accept that you are different, you find intellectual liberation. You stop worrying about why you don't fit in and realize you weren't meant to. You were meant to stand apart. Accepting your solitude is the final step in becoming who you are. You are not failing because you don't enjoy the same things as everyone else. You are simply operating on a different frequency. When you stop fearing the silence, you realize that it isn't empty. It is full of the truths that the rest of the world is too busy to hear. You find that you were never really alone. You were just finally giving yourself the space to breathe. This is the ultimate freedom, to be at home in your own mind, no matter what is happening in the social theater outside.